and Marotta. Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Slowly but surely, the Diamondbacks are getting back in the game. They have won or split their last 5 series. They're 2 games under 500. And for a team that cannot realistically gain real momentum due to that giant hole in their rotation, they're hanging pretty tough. And that brings us to Corbin Carroll. After yesterday's game, there seemed to be a rush of optimism that Carroll's in-game injury was just a moment, just a fluke and nothing to be concerned about. And we're going to see if that holds true after an MRI that is scheduled today. And that's no small thing, because Carroll is finally getting right at the plate. He's basically been a 300 hitter for the past 18 games, and that qualifies as a trend. He's actually driving the baseball instead of breaking his at-bat every other plate appearance. And for all the deflating moments and disappointing losses in this season so far, I'm starting to get bullish on this baseball team. And not just because they're getting healthy, but I believe this experience is going to give them scar tissue, maybe even steel them for the challenges ahead, starting with 6 very important road games this week. And I can guarantee you this, if the Diamondbacks end up making the playoffs in September, nobody will remember the first few months of this season. But losing Carroll to a throwing injury when he has very little arm to begin with, well, that might be too much for their collective psyche and too much for all of us to bear. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
He's going to stay here in Arizona and be evaluated by our doctors tomorrow.
Is that any kind of indication on how serious you guys think it might be?
To be honest, I think the post-game evaluation was much more positive than I thought, based on what I was watching him do in center field, and then come in and give us a little snapshot as to what he was feeling. So the post-game evaluation was pushed in the right direction, but I think it's fairly routine for us to leave guys behind, get them evaluated when we have that day off. So I'm concerned when the athlete comes off. But I'm going to remain optimistic.
All right, that's Torey Lovello on Corbin Carroll, and we dealt with this a little bit last year when Corbin Carroll had those shoulder issues, swinging the bat when we thought, he's got something structurally wrong with him, and it turned out to be nothing. And you're like, whew, sigh of relief. Is that going to be the same deal with this? If he is shut down for any reason, worst case scenario, which doesn't seem to be in play right now, but if it is, coming at the worst time. In the last 18 games, and according to most baseball experts, 20 games qualifies as a big enough chunk of time that it's a trend. 299, 5 doubles, a triple, going 20 of 67 at the plate. That's real progress for a guy that barely could rarely ever barrel up.
Seeing the ball better, more walks, less strikeouts. Doesn't hit home runs anymore this season. I don't know what's going on with that.
Neither do I.
But other than that, everything else looking much more positive.
We actually got an email from the D-backs PR team. They sent out in-game updates, and I was reading this in-game update right around the time that he exited the game with his double in the first inning. Corbin Carroll now has reached base safely in a career-high 16 straight games, batting .311, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 5 RBI, 8 walks, 1 hit by pitch, and 3 stolen bases. And you're reading that, and you're like, it's coming together.
It's all happening. Yeah.
All right, Corbin.
Right.
And out he goes.
And then out he goes. And as Scott brought up, what are you even doing trying to double off somebody from first base in the outfield when you're up by 11 runs or whatever it was at the time?
Yeah, you're out in center field. You're trying to double somebody up off of first. So it's not like you're in left field. You caught one in right field, rather. You caught one in shallow right field. Yeah. You're trying to double them up. But, yeah, you can just tell. He feels more confident. And the way he's at the plate, whether, like you say, Sarah, with the walks, just getting on base, right? His on-base percentage has come way up from when he was batting under 200 and he had no power. And you were really thinking, okay, what is going on with this kid? Are pitchers figuring him out in his second go-around after winning Rookie of the Year? They're doing a little bit more advanced scouting on him, finding out where his weak spot in his swing is, or is he just lacking power because he's got that shoulder issue that he dealt with last year, and no one wants to say it, but now the dude can't hit the ball out of the park.
It's looking like as of now, it's looking like okay, he came in as this phenom. The pitchers did figure him out, and now he's figuring that out. You know, baseball is a long reason. Yeah, it goes back and forth.
Yeah, the pendulum swing of adjustments. There's also, but what Scott says has to be factored into the mix here, because Corbin Carroll, those shoulders, something prompted Corbin Carroll to make major alterations to his swing plane in the offseason. And was that really so he would be less susceptible to high pitches or whatever it was, or was it compensating for the shoulder issues he had? And if it's the latter, has that taken away his power? The 2 home runs he's got this year both barely cleared the fence.
Yeah, I had shoulder injuries. That's the only reason why I went to the shoulder injury. My right shoulder used to dislocate in college. I wasn't drafted because of my right shoulder. I remember the championship parade after we won the Lakers. I was high-fiving somebody out the window of my car, and my shoulder dislocated before I had to go to Los Angeles and have it fixed that summer of '91. I know how bad a shoulder is when you lose that strength, you lose that confidence in it. And I wonder, for somebody who's never dealt with an injury to his shoulder before, if he hasn't just compensated for it naturally over time the way I did, playing with it for 3 or 4 years before having it operated on and getting it fixed, where you go, oh my God, how did I live with that pain and that instability all those years and still managed to do what I did? I think he's lost some pop in his bat because he's dealing with the shoulder.
That's interesting. Christian Walker clearly making his case that he deserves an all-star berth. 3 hits yesterday, including a double and a homer. He's got 4 home runs in his past 5 games. He has been fantastic. So he and Ketel Marte probably are all-star worthy, and Christian Walker has been sensational. Jock Petersen has been great this year as well. He had a 2-run double, reached base 4 times yesterday, and then as we said, Jordan Montgomery, 5 innings without an earned run. This is good now. He's backed it up. So he's had 2 good outings in a row.
Christian Walker is 5th in the National League in RBI, which is great. And we've pointed this out, but there was such a big thing about what were the Diamondbacks going to do at that DH position. Mm-hmm. That's the spot they really needed to fill, and they went deep into the offseason not doing it. And we named all these big names, including J.D. Martinez, which is pretty much everybody around here wanted. And when they got Jock Petersen and Randall Grichuk as this platoon, very underwhelming, but they've been fantastic, especially Jock Petersen, like you said. Consistently good this late into the season, which is amazing.
Which has been fantastic. Where would they be without all these guys?
Yeah, I mean, home run hitter Aaron Rodgers leading the league, Major League Baseball, with 26 on the season.
Aaron Judge?
Aaron Rodgers on the brain still.
You call him Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Judge.
Who's taking?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Who's on ayahuasca now is what I want to know.
He's mooned up on
I'm
the
only
juice.
on 1 cup of coffee this morning,
You're
so I get an
microdosing
excuse for that.
of,
But yes, Judge with 26. Now Walker has 16, and you think, okay, that's a big drop off. He's at number 12, but Ohtani is at number 4 with 19.
With 19.
So he's not that far back of being in the top 5.
It's such a high-profile position, and he's such a low-profile dude, so underrated that you wonder if he can get any voting groundswell. I doubt it.
When you factor in the fact that he's also literally the best defensive first baseman in the National League.
That's true, too.
That should factor in as well.
Right?
Yeah.
He's having a great year.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.